Hello everyone, this is Paweł Kozioł for yet another installment of Go for Everyone series. Today we're talking about the game between Lee Cheng-sok, a Korean player, and Seki Kotaro, a Japanese player. The game is interesting because players often play the moves which leave their stones unguarded, and this is something that, in my humble opinion, sets apart professional players from us amateurs, because we as amateurs often cannot handle uncertainty, cannot handle the situation when a group is neither dead or alive. If something like this happens on the board, we generally try to fix it, try to play the moves which will stabilize the situation, and here we have the exact opposite of this thinking. Let's see how the game progresses. Here we have a modern implementation of an old strategy. We have a shimari. In the old times it would be more like this kind of shimari. And we have a pincer. Again, in the old times it would be something like this, or this. And here we can reasonably expect that the game will take the following turn. White builds something which he will use as a wall, and either now or after a push which strengthens black group but at the same time gives whites more opportunities of attacking, white will try to isolate the pincer stone. This is the old tried and trusted strategy, and it could well be implemented here. But instead, white opted for a fight. If he connects to this stone, then this wall will be really imposing and this stone will look poor. Black starts fighting. White plays a move which looks like trying to safeguard this group, but then he leaves this sequence and he does not even continue. Why? Continuing here would not be such a bad move, but the problem with it is that it doesn't gain points, and I guess black would just draw back one way or the other. White played many moves which don't gain any points, whereas black has this corner and relatively safe position. It would be difficult to attack these stones. So instead, white leaves this part of the board in a state when the position is undecided and plays here instead. And what does black do? Black ignores, because if he plays here, then white would most likely play another shimari, and this loss is more than compensated for getting this magnificent structure on this half of the board. So black invades, and now we have another sequence of moves which try to ignore each other. This is a standard approach against this shimari. As you see, approach is done not from the normal side, but this stone, if left unattended, will help fighting against these two stones. Sometimes we see black playing moves like this to claim the corner, but this time black ignores and plays in a really clever point at the lower part of the board. Had he played here, white would have an obvious reply. Here, then perhaps making this group a bit stronger, and now white has a pleasant choice between pushing once more and playing something at the top of this group, making it really weak. This group will probably survive, but we don't really want this scenario when white has all the fun and all the influence. But if black plays here, then the choice is less obvious. This extension is short. This extension is also a bit shorter than white would really want to have from this wall. So what does white do? You guessed it. He leaves this stone unattended, because really it cannot be attacked too strongly. The best that can be done is playing here. But black is really safe, he can go out, and there is still some pressure to be applied against white's group. So white ignores, trying to make use of this stone. There are many sequences how it can work, for example this one. White connects to this stone directly. Black plays this nice nose Tetsuji, and the position can stabilize like that. However, in the game black chose a different option, trying to take the top side rather than the corner. Now white creates a group which can defend itself in two ways, either taking this stone or connecting here one way or the other. Instead of attacking this group directly, Black goes on about his business, defending his lonely stone. White in turn supports this group. Black plays one more defensive move. This one-point jump is a move whose strength is often overlooked. Now it both attacks White's corner and protects this group, so it's really powerful, much larger than it looks. White, however, ignores the threats against this corner and defends his position here instead. It makes sense. Once Black declared that he will fight for the top of the board, we can as well prevent him. Now Black plays a move which threatens this group, and this is a moment when all my Q instincts would scream, "Oh no, he took one of my Miai points, so I need to take the other and leave." However, White has none of that, and Black defends his stone. White plays a move threatening to connect with the outside. Black prevents it, and White decides to play here. I think the idea is to try to play a peep here and annoy this group a bit. So this is an important move, taking the control of the top, but the problem with it is that it leaves this group under attack. And surprisingly, this becomes the main theme of the game. It looks a bit like an action movie when we have a supporting hero who is injured, and at some stage when the group of heroes tries to escape from some threat, he says, "Oh, leave me here. I will buy you some time. And this leg, I never really liked it." In short, this group is constantly under threat. If Black plays here first, this group will probably die. White, on the other hand, has a way of making it alive with this move. But the funny thing is that no matter how many times I checked whether this move is good for White during the game, AI always said, "No, it's losing points." It could be like 5 points when the situation was stable, and it could be like 25 to 30 points during an important fight. This goes completely against the Q player's instinct. You have a group, it's worth approximately 18, perhaps 20 points, and yet you do not safeguard it. You keep playing elsewhere, and the opponent, he also is too busy to kill this group. Let's see how it went. White plays here. It's a huge move, because if he is allowed to continue, he can map this area for himself. This is huge, much bigger than this group obviously. So Black always also feels that he should play something big. And this move is big too, because not allowing White to connect here means White cannot expect a big area here. So it's like proposing an exchange, this for this. White resists, but now we begin a really difficult fighting sequence. White plays this move, once more threatening the connection to this not yet alive corner group. Black defends, and White plays a ladder breaker, threatening to take this stone. If he succeeds, it will be a really great result. See, all this area becomes white. So naturally, Black plays here, strengthens his group and breaks the ladder. Now White is too busy fighting for the dear life of this group to defend this one. And it's of course a right decision, as coming out alive here is much bigger. And White tries to do it simultaneously, taking care of these stones. So it's a difficult task, and it works mainly because of the possibility of this move. Black cannot really play here, because there are too many cutting points. And any attempt to leave would result in losing these stones. So naturally Black plays here, and White connects. All of this has been more important than this group. Now Black, instead of going for a kill, plays here. And this move also is really important, because even killing this group would leave White with not a bad position. And it should be a sufficient compensation, because if this group is sealed, then making it alive requires actively killing of these stones, removing them from the board, which means black will have to spend a couple of moves inside his territory. So this is a reasoning why black decided to leave this group as it is, in its undecided state, and rather play a move which threatens these 4 stones, reduces huge white area here, and creates chances for a big attack later on. Now we have a reduction, and now we have the attack. So we see the true value of this move. White tries to escape, and black once again diverts his attention from this area, pressurizing the top group. Only later he comes back. Now we have some fight for a connection, simultaneously putting some pressure on this group. And this dead stone will be very important because it allows white to play something in center here. So it was worthwhile to sacrifice here. Now white is forced to connect, and now because of all these chances offered by this dead stone, he can take a risk of pulling out these stones. Only after black connects, white group needs to escape. Now we see a complex fight when white is probably expected to make some concession here, but at the same time it threatens to connect both to this top group and to this wall. And here this is an important move, because you remember I said this group is worth like 18, perhaps 20 points, and by this sequence white regains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stones, playing 5 stones here. It's already 10 points worth of territory. So this group is almost avenged, and it can still try to leave. Of course, white has different ideas, like using the threat of these stones surviving. Because if they do, by the way, there was another possibility of, instead of this move, white could play here, but he preferred this move and sacrificing these stones because it renews the threat against this black group. And remember, white can still leave. If he doesn't, then black needs to put many stones into this area. So black starts attacking, and this group finally dies. But you see, it died at the enormous cost. First of all, white managed to play this wedge. White managed to make these stones alive, and with a different plan he would be able to keep these stones alive too. Third thing, he managed to build his position here. You see, this fallen hero, this group, really did what it could. And if white finally lost the game, we can still say it was almost worth it. It almost worked. So next time when you have a small group which can be killed, look carefully. How much is it worth? And try to visualize whether you can regain these points elsewhere instead of defending in Gotha. At the least, you will get an exciting game like this one. So good luck with your games. I hope this lesson will serve as an inspiration to you. Thank you very much.